Hello friends, do you love tea and natural wellness products as much as I do? I've partnered with Positively Tea and Positively Botanicals, and I can honestly say I drink their organic loose leaf tea almost every day, and I love it. From organic teas to natural remedies, they offer high-quality products that support a healthy, mindful lifestyle. When you shop through my affiliate link, you not only discover amazing products for yourself, but you also help support the podcast. Visit the link in the show notes to explore their selections today. And for you coffee lovers, they have you covered as well. Treat yourself, support the show, and keep connecting with the natural world. Hello friends, and welcome back to the Forest Connection, the podcast where we rediscover the healing, grounding, and joyful power of the natural world. We slow down and start reconnecting with the natural world around us. I'm Paul, your guide on this journey into the forest, and today we're going to be exploring something a little more playful while we reconnect with nature. And we're going to do that by acting like a kid. Yeah. Remember when you were young and you spent all those hours and hours outdoors? I hope you're that type of kid. I know I was. I was constantly outdoors. Well, today that's what we're going to do is we're going to turn back into kids. We are going to remember those days when we spent hours outside turning over rocks. International Rock Flipping Day. Yeah, that's the second Sunday of September, I believe. But yeah, it's when you turn over rocks and we're not going to get into that, but look it up, International Rock Flipping Day. But when we were kids, there was no such thing as International Rock Flipping Day. We just did it because it was fun. Yeah, and climbing trees. I loved climbing trees. I'm surprised I didn't break an arm or a leg, but yeah, I was constantly climbing trees. I spent a lot of time outdoors. I had quite an imagination when I was a kid. I was always making things up and, pretending imaginary things. My forest, my backyard, it was another world. Because that's what you do when you're a kid. You climb the trees, you imagine things, you basically turn a single patch of grass into an entire world. So anyhow, somewhere along the way, many of us, unfortunately, we lost that freedom of basically exploring and being a kid. But here's the good news. We can get it back. We can get that kid feeling back. All we have to do is do it. Just try. So anyhow, I remember as a kid, I lived in a village, the village of East Aurora, but I was fortunate enough that our yard actually backed up to the town park, and I spent so much time in that park. My best friend, he lived 2 houses down, 2 doors down, and he had a gate to the park, and I did too. My back fence had a gate to the park, one of the few that did. There was a big tree that fell on this fence, on this gate, and the fence actually was damaged quite a bit in a few areas, so the town came in and they replaced the fence and they gave us a brand new gate, and You know, they didn't replace a lot of people's gates, so it was interesting. But anyhow, my friend and I, we spent our entire childhood in that park, it seemed. We were constantly exploring. We were, being kids, climbing in the park. We were, exploring the park. We were playing constantly in that park, looking at the trees, watching insects, playing in anthills, which we shouldn't have been doing, but all these different things. We were actually acting as kids. So, let's wander today together down a trail to reconnect with nature. By the end of our walk, you'll hopefully feel a little lighter, freer, and a little more like your younger self. Now you may be wondering why acting like a kid matters. Okay, well, when we were kids, we engaged with the natural world in a state of wonder. We don't do that anymore. But as kids, we didn't have any worries. We didn't have bills to pay. Our biggest worry was, hey, is my friend available to go and explore nature? So we as kids found everything to be new. Everything is an adventure. Now, science actually tells us, many studies have been done, and science actually tells us that play actually boosts creativity, it lowers stress, and it strengthens our connection to the present moment. So scientific studies have proven all this. Now, kids, when we were kids, I hope you were this way too. I mean, I'm digging back into my memories of being a kid and how wonderful it was being out in nature all the time. And my parents, they took us camping a lot. They took us out in nature a lot. And like I said, I was fortunate. I had a park right in my backyard. It was a town park. It was nothing huge, but it was still, when you're a kid, everything is huge. Now as an adult and I go there, it's like, boy, this park is small. But it really isn't, not especially as a kid. It was huge. Now, as kids, when we were kids, hopefully you remember this, and hopefully if you have kids now, they do the same thing. I know my grandkids, I hope they do this. I know sometimes they do, but with electronics these days, it's hard for them to do it as much as we used to do it. But kids, they approach nature without an agenda. Think about that. When you go into the woods, do you have an agenda? Probably. I mean, I've been telling you to do some forest bathing or to reconnect with nature. That's your agenda. Well, kids go into the woods without an agenda. I mean, they don't walk into the woods thinking, I need 10,000 steps. I've mentioned it before how my wife and I go hiking, and when we go hiking in the woods, often it's like we're keeping track of how far we went. Did we get that mile in? Did we get 2 miles? Yesterday we actually walked 4.5 miles. We had a really good hike. But it's like, yeah, we go in with an agenda. Kids don't. They don't have that agenda. Instead, they just wander. Listen to my other podcast. I actually call it The Nature Wanderer. And that's because I want people to get out there and just wander through nature and explore nature. And that's kind of what kids do. Okay, they just wander. They stop and watch ants. Maybe the ants are building an anthill, carrying crumbs, carrying something along. They build forts with sticks. I used to have a ton of forts. In my backyard, we used to grab stuff and, sticks and, it's a branch fell in the park, we'd bring it home and build a fort out of it. I still, during wilderness survival, I do teach, building forts. But as a kid, it wasn't about survival is just about building a fort to have fun. I don't know if you remember, when I was a kid, I would just run through the park just to feel the breeze against my face, not to get somewhere, just to run, just to feel the breeze against me. All these things are things kids do. No agenda. It's awesome. Unfortunately, as adults, we forget that nature isn't only for exercise and relaxation. It's also for joy. It's just to be out there and enjoying nature. Joy has been scientifically proven as healing. Yes, you can heal from being happy, from being joyous. Kids, yeah, they're probably, used to be much healthier because they're out in nature just enjoying, no agenda. So by relearning how to play outside, hopefully we can awaken that childlike curiosity, the one that's always been within us. It's still there. We just need to wake it up again. What we're going to do here, I'm actually in the woods right now, just taking a nice slow walk through the woods. It's actually a beautiful morning, a little bit chilly, but that's fine. I like brisk mornings sometimes. I'm just wandering through the woods. I have no agenda. I'm just enjoying relaxing. And we're going to do what, I haven't done an episode on it yet, but it's coming soon, forest bathing. And with forest bathing, you do what we call invitations. In other words, you let the woods invite you to do things, to explore things. Something may catch your eye. I've got the sun low in the sky, and it's just beating through the little breaks in the tree tops and the branches, through the leaves, and it's almost like it's inviting me to see all these different things that it's highlighting on the forest floor. So there's little highlights just in different spots, and it's really interesting. Or, actually I'm stopping here because I've got this spider webs. That's actually the sunlight that caught the webs to my attention. There's different things kind of hanging in those webs. So that was an invitation from nature. It was inviting me to see, explore what was here. So we're going to try some simple invitations, little ways to reconnect with nature through childhood play. So we're going to bring that child back out of us. Okay, so if you're out walking now, great. If not, get out walking. You should always be out walking. It's good for you, especially in the woods. Okay, so if you're out walking, you can join in. If you're just listening at home, use your imagination. Remember when you were a kid and you had an imagination? I hope you had a good imagination like I did. My grandson, he's got such an imagination. He makes me laugh sometimes. His imagination just goes wild sometimes. It just amazes me. The things that comes out of his mouth, and it's like, where'd you come up with that? Yeah, he loves superheroes. For his birthday, he just wanted superhero costumes and things that are real. It's like, basically, he wants to do the things superheroes do. He uses his imagination. That's what you can do too. Okay? Just use your imagination. Let yourself smile. Just be a kid. So bring that kid out. Now, the first invitation I want you to try is to look closely. I want you to just stop where you are. If you're in the woods, stop where you are. Once again, use your imagination And try this. Or maybe you want to go out to the woods and, stop the podcast, go out to the woods and try this in the woods. Or just remember what I was telling you. I actually found a good spot right here. The forest invited me to it. I've got a fallen log, and I'm just going to come over to this log and I'm going to sit on it. You can crouch down. And, there's a beech nut seed here. It's really, see, I would have missed that if I didn't stop and crouch down and look. And that's what kids do when they're out playing. Kids crouch down, they inspect things. I want you to try kneeling on the ground or find the log like I just did. Find a log to sit on and maybe pick up a leaf. Okay, I've got some leaves on the ground. A lot of them are dead, but there are some green ones. I'm going to grab one of the green ones here. Now I'm just going to pick it up. I'm going to look at the patterns in the leaf. And it's pretty interesting. It has little jagged edges on. I'm not trying to identify the leaf. I could care less what type of tree this came from. I mean, being a naturalist, I know, but don't try to figure it out. Just look at it. Look at the way the patterns are on the leaf. The way the lines come off of the central line going up the middle of the leaf. Look at the edges. Like I said, mine has ragged edge. It's got little, sharp points coming off of the edge. How long is the stem? Feel it. What's it feel like? Mine is kind of waxy. It feels real smooth on the top, but a little rough on the bottom because that's where the veins of the leaf, you can feel them sticking out. It's got a couple of brown spots on it, and the stem is really kind of stiff. And look around you. Check for movement on the ground. Are there any insects moving? Maybe touch a tree nearby. I'm touching the tree that I'm sitting on. What's it feel like? What's the bark feel like? What are the textures? So just take a little while and let yourself just be amazed by the small details you usually pass by when you're trying to get those 10,000 steps or whatever. Just stop and look. I've got a large bug that just flew by. There's a slight breeze. It's a really calm morning here in the woods, but there's enough of a slight breeze where there's just a couple of leaves on this small tree next to me that are just kind of bouncing up and down just a little bit. I mean, probably a half inch, maybe an inch, and it's just one branch. So there must be just a little bit of a breeze coming through that one section. I'm noticing a spider web real close to me. I'm noticing part of the log is rotted. I'm seeing some movement in it. Not a lot because it is, like I said, a little bit brisk. This is great to do on a nice summer warm day. Yes, and you're hearing. I'm hearing some chattering up in the trees. And once again, I know what it is. I know it's a red squirrel, but it doesn't matter. I'm just noticing the sounds. I'm not trying to identify everything. I'm just noticing things. And that's what you should do. That's what you did as a kid. That's what I did as a kid. Hey, I was always looking under the leaf litter. I was looking at different things. I was touching things. Oh, I could tell you stories about leading hikes with little kids and their parents. And the parents are like, oh, don't touch that. Oh, don't touch that. Oh, don't touch that. Oh, that's dirty. Oh, that's an insect. You don't want to touch it. It's gross. And I'm just shuddering. It's like you're totally defeating the purpose of my walk here. I'm trying to reconnect these kids with nature that you are trying to disconnect them from. I love the parents who are just like, oh, look at this. Touch it. What is it? We'll find out. Story of I was out with a young group of kids and their parents. It was a kind of a toddler day. And this was back when I worked at a nature center. We're walking around a nature center, and we found some pretty neat stuff. And all of a sudden, one little kid comes up to me holding this little cocoon, fuzzy little cocoon that he found. And I'm like, I froze for a second, but it's like, I don't want to scare him. So I just want to, it says, well, that is wonderful. And then we talked about it, and we talked about the insect that was basically inside, that was growing from a baby, and that would hatch in a few weeks. And we talked all about this. I didn't want to tell him that your hand's going to be itching later. Because that little cocoon is irritating. That's part of the protection of it. And sure enough, later in the walk, his mother comes up to me and says, I think we're going back to the nature center. My son's hand is really itchy and it's bothering him. And I says, well, I have some medicine I can put on it here, and we found a plant, and we'll talk about that right now. And we put it on, and everything was fine. But you know, it's part of the experience. And that's what I did as a kid, just touch everything. Find things. Oh, speaking of finding things, that's the next invitation I want you to do. I want you to collect treasures. Did you do this as a kid? I used to. I used to have a pile of little acorns in my dresser drawer. I would collect leaves. I would collect all sorts of things. I still collect rocks now and then. I had a rock collection, yes, big nerd, okay, but I had a rock collection when I was a kid. Do you remember as a kid filling your pockets with rocks, maybe feathers, pine cones? So I want you to pick something up. Feel its weight, maybe its texture. Don't worry about keeping it, just enjoy holding your treasure for a moment. I know as adults we're trying to downsize sometimes. We don't want all this stuff just hanging around in our house. I have a lot of natural items in my house because I do still collect things. But I also understand that could be some animal's food or home, so I try to leave most things in the woods. So right now, I want you to pretend you are a kid, bring that child out of you, and look at something that interests you and pick it up and feel it, touch it. Remember how it feels. Remember how it looks. Maybe how it smells. And then if you want to take it home, that's fine, as long as it's not an endangered, protected species. Or you can just leave it there. And maybe on the rest of your walk later, on your way back to your vehicle or your house, wherever you are, maybe you can keep looking for that same type of object. Maybe you're collecting pine cones, and pick it up and think about the difference. So now the third thing I want you to do is, this is a climb and balance invitation. I've got some squirrels playing with each other on the tree. So I love watching nature play too. But find a log. I'm sitting on a log right now, maybe a low branch or a rock. Try balancing. How does it feel to playfully test your body's limits? You don't need to climb high, just enjoy the sense of play. As a kid, you would have. Oh, I'm walking in the woods. I'm going to do it right now. When I'm walking in the woods as a kid, I would find a log, every log that I saw. I didn't just walk around it. I would either step on it, and right now I'm walking along it. I'm pretty balanced right now. Of course, I do yoga every morning, so I do some balancing with my yoga, the tree pose and such. But yeah, it's great. So try it. Be a kid again. Walk along that log. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to, and this might be tough for some of you, as a kid this was so easy for me. Nowadays, it's a little more difficult. Okay, and part of it, I think, is because my mindset has changed. I mean, even with books, when I'm reading books, when I was a kid, the books I read were things like Encyclopedia Brown, all these, mystery books, and I would try to figure out, okay, what's the mystery? I would try to solve the mystery before Encyclopedia Brown did. And then as I got a little older, I got into more of the science fiction. I read, things like Dragon Quest series, the Lord of the Rings, of course, and all these different science fiction. Oh, Narnia, those are my favorite, the Narnia series. Right, it's funny because when we bought our new house, there's a lamppost on the front yard, and it's like, oh, great, we get a Narnia light here. So it's like, I still have some of that imagination in me, but it's not as easy. So I want you to do this invitation. I want you to make believe. Okay, just make believe, pretend. Okay, imagine maybe that the tree you're standing on or next to, maybe it's a wise elder. What story might it tell you? I know I talked about listening to trees in an earlier episode and talking to the trees. Well, let's use our imagination. Okay, maybe that mossy patch is a miniature forest for tiny creatures. Let your imagination run free. Just look around you and just imagine, those two squirrels. Imagine what they were thinking, what they were doing. I had these two squirrels playing, running after each other up the tree. And I can imagine that maybe those squirrels were reincarnated Knights of the Round Table, and they were, on a quest to find the Holy Grail, and they're looking on the tree. And, use your imagination, make believe. What's that tree look like? Is there a face in it? Maybe it's talking to you. Okay, so start imagining again. Nowadays, we think, oh, we don't want anyone to think we're crazy or weird. Who cares? We didn't think that way when we were kids. When we were kids, like I said, I love when my grandson uses his imagination. He comes up with some pretty wild things, and I don't know, it makes me laugh, but part of it is also like, yeah, I could get sucked right into his little world here. And sometimes I do, and we'll play and we'll imagine together. And he loves it when I do that. So start making believe, start being a kid and using your imagination more. Okay, the last invitation I want you to try, and I want you to do this not just once, do it as often as you can. And the more you do it, the more you practice, the more you are going to bring out that child in you. The one that loved and explored the woods, who didn't have a goal set every time they went into the woods. It was just being there. So anyhow, the last one I want you to try is run, skip, or spin. When was the last time you ran just for fun? Not to get away from something, not because you were late, but just for fun. And not for exercise either. Maybe that's fun if you do run for exercise, but I want you to just run. Run through the woods. Be careful running through the woods. You don't want to trip on any sticks or anything. Maybe this makes me weird, but I love when I just run through the woods and then I'll fall. And, it's like, even if I hurt myself a little bit, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because it's like, oh, that was funny. That was pretty silly of me that I tripped over that log, And unfortunately, we don't let our kids do this sometimes. I've seen parents who are like, don't run. Don't run. You're going to trip on something. You're going to hurt yourself. It's like, that's what kids do. We hurt ourselves. Okay, try it. Yeah, just try running. Maybe through a field where there aren't any obstacles. Okay, try running through the field. Even for a few seconds. You don't have to do it a long time. We're not trying to get exercise. We're just having fun. Or if you don't like running, try skipping. When was the last time you skipped? Try it. If you're afraid to do it in public, do it in private. How does it make you feel? Skip through the woods. Now this next one, do very carefully. Spin in circles. Feel the laughter rising up in you when you do these things. I mean, like I said, I love doing these things, and it does make me kind of feel happy, free, and it sometimes makes me laugh. Even if I don't trip over a log, it still makes me laugh when I'm running through the woods, and it's just fun. So let's talk about why I want you to do these things. I mean, yes, you're out in the woods, you're reconnecting with nature, and that's what I've been trying to get you to do in this entire podcast, is reconnect with nature, feel the healing powers of the natural world. But the other reason is that, well, research shows that play isn't just for children. When adults engage in playful activities outdoors, like I'm having you do right here, it actually reduces the cortisol, it boosts dopamine, and it even strengthens social bonds. So that's what studies have shown. Yeah, nature play, whether it's adults or kids, okay, has been linked to improved problem-solving skills and resilience. So it's been scientifically proven this is good for you. And here's something real fascinating that when I was doing my research on this, something that I found, studies on awe. You know, that childhood sense of wonder, that awe? It actually has shown that it can expand our perception of time, it lowers stress, and it increases generosity. Acting like a kid in nature. It's not silly. It's actually neuroscience. It's medicine. It's been proven scientifically. Okay, so let's finish today's wandering through the woods with a short practice. This is a real easy, short one, and I want to leave you with this so that hopefully you will do it as often as you can. I want you to find a comfortable spot. I prefer in the woods, but if you want, maybe you can just sit on a park bench, maybe a rock somewhere, just standing still on the trail. Or like I'm doing right now, I'm sitting on a log. Close your eyes if you'd like. You don't have to. Some people don't feel comfortable closing their eyes in the woods. They're always afraid of what's coming around behind them. It's a comfort thing, and that's fine. Hopefully someday you'll get to that point where you feel more relaxed in the woods and you can close your eyes. I do all the time. Nothing's hurt me. I've had bugs crawling on me before. Not a big deal. Okay, but close your eyes if you'd like. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it out. Slowly. Slow breath in. Breathe it out. Now imagine you are your younger self, maybe 7 or 8 years old. See yourself standing here or sitting here, wide-eyed and curious. Remember those days? Okay, imagine that again. Your younger self, wide-eyed and curious. What would catch your attention first? What around you here would catch your attention first? Would you run towards the stream, climb a tree, maybe follow the sound of a bird? Let your inner child guide you. Smile. Laugh. Whatever you feel like you want to do. No one's watching, and even if they are, joy is contagious. Maybe they'll join you. Stay with this playful version of yourself for a moment. Feel the lightness. Feel how your heart softens when you let go of acting like an adult. And simply play. Play in nature. When you're ready, take another deep breath. Thank that child within you. And then you can gently return to the present moment. Do this little practice as often as you want, for as long as you want. The more you do it, the more you're going to start bringing that inner child back out. The days when you didn't have the mission or the goal in the woods, but you just had fun. You had fun in nature, and you explored nature, and you reconnected. Reconnecting with nature doesn't always mean silence, stillness, or deep reflection. I mean, I love meditating in the woods. I love meditating in nature. But you don't have to do it that way. Sometimes it means laughing, running, pretending, playing, just like we did when we were kids. That's an even better way to reconnect sometimes. The forest, the meadow, the beach, even your own backyard, they all welcome us back with open arms, no matter our age. So this week, I invite you to try one playful thing outside. Skip down the sidewalk. Collect a handful of acorns. Imagine the clouds are giant animals. When was the last time you did that, where you watched the clouds? I still do it all the time as an adult. I almost said as a kid, because sometimes my wife will say, when are you going to grow up? And I keep telling her, never. Never. I still have that kid inside of me. And I love that kid coming out. So do these things. Imagine the clouds or giant animals or whatever. Try to figure out what each cloud is and watch it change. I love doing that. It's like, oh, now it's not a unicorn anymore. Now it's turning into a giraffe. So let yourself play. That's what I want you to do this week. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I hope you find that inner kid in you, and I hope you use it all the time and it stays with you. You know, sometimes it's not fun being an adult. So let's find the inner kid again. If you enjoyed listening, please share this with your friends. Let more people know about the Nature Wanderer and the Forest Connection. Hopefully they'll listen to both podcasts. If you haven't listened to the Nature Wanderer yet, check it out. All the links to supporting the podcast are in the show notes. If you like to journal your playfulness, I do have nature journals that I sell on Amazon. The links are in the show notes. You can also support the podcast through my Ko-Fi page. So thanks again for joining me on the Forest Connection. Until next time, may you wander freely, playfully, and joyfully like a kid at heart, and keep connecting with the nature around you. Hello friends, I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hey there, fellow nature wanderers. If you're like me, you love spending time outdoors, breathing in that fresh air and connecting with the natural world. But at home, have you ever thought about what's in the products you use every single day? That's why I'm excited to share Apple Valley Natural Soap with you. Their handcrafted all-natural soaps are made with organic ingredients, essential oils, and no harsh chemicals. Awesome! So they're not only great for your skin, but they're safe for the planet. And they don't just stop at soap. Apple Valley Natural Soap also carries a full line of natural skincare products, including shampoos, body butters, facial bars, and more. All designed to nourish your skin without synthetic ingredients. You can't beat that. That's just awesome. Whether you're hiking in the woods or just winding down after a long day, their products bring a little bit of nature right into your home. And the best part? By supporting Apple Valley Natural Soap through the Nature Wanderer, you're also supporting this podcast. Just head to the show notes and click on the link for Apple Valley Natural Soap. So go ahead, treat yourself and the environment to something better. Your skin and Mother Nature will thank you. Now let's get on with our adventure.